With the 29th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders have selected offensive tackle out of Oregon, Josh Conerly Jr., to continue to build up the offensive trenches to protect franchise quarterback Jayden Daniels heading into his second season. Welcome into the Commanders Report. I am your host, Jack Sperry. We're going to be breaking down this pick of Josh Conerly Jr., recap what the Commanders did here on day one of the 2025 NFL Draft, and look ahead to round two, where the Commanders have a round two pick, no round three pick this year, but talk about some of the top players available that the Commanders could be targeting with their second round pick at number 61 overall. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already for comprehensive draft coverage all weekend long. Tomorrow we'll get you my day two mock draft for the Washington Commanders after taking Conerly here in round one. So let's talk about Conerly here, man. And you know, we talked about heading into the night that offensive line was going to be a possibility for the Washington Commanders. But with both Mike Green and Donovan Ezeraku on the board for the Commanders, they really showed their resolve to and their priority to protect Jayden Daniels moving forward heading into the 2025 season. We talked about how on this offensive line, you got Nick Allegretti at left guard slated to be there. But, you know, that was a position that could have been upgraded. And, you know, we talked about guys that could move to guard. There's some people speculating Conerly might move inside and play guard. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think Conerly's going to play right tackle for the Washington Commanders moving forward. And I think Brandon Coleman, who I actually think can be a really good left guard, is going to move to that spot, all right? And then you probably have Andrew Wiley start the season at right guard while Sam Cosmi continues to recover from the ACL tear he had late last year. Scouting report here from our own Tom Downey here at Chat Sports for Josh Conerly Jr. He says 2-year starter who showed growth at left tackle. He's a fluid mover and really good athlete, which allows him to recover if he gives up ground, and some play strength issues would show up, especially in the run game, which is true. He's not the best run blocker in the world, but he's got really good pass protecting technique. He's got really good footwork. I think that he's got a really good pass protecting skill set. And now you got Laramie Tunsil on the left side, one of the best true pass protectors in all of football. And I think Conerly on the right side is going to give you that every single week for the Washington Commanders. And now that the New York Giants have Abdul Carter and Brian Burns, it's very important that you have a really good tackle duo. And that's exactly what the Washington Commanders are getting in Josh Conerly Jr. here. You take a look at his PFF grades from last year, a 78.1 overall grade. As you guys can see, his pass blocking grade is excellent at 83.5, and his run block grade was 72.5. Only allowed one sack. Now, I think that the consensus here on Conerly is he needs to get better at anchoring and handling the bull rush. That's going to be the thing that he's going to have to get better at as he enters the National Football League. But, you know, when you move the way that he does, when you, have the footwork and the technique that he does, and you have the physical tools that he does, you know, this is somebody that I think is going to be a long-time starter for the Washington Commanders. So I really like the pick here, guys. Grade it for me down there in the comments section. The new right tackle of the Washington Commanders, Josh Conerly Jr. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F for today's pin question. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by grading the pick. For me personally, I would have gone in a different direction personally. I would have gone Mike Green. Or I would have gone Donovan Ezeraku. Both of those guys are excellent edge rushers, and personally, I think that that was a bigger need than offensive tackle. But I don't hate the pick at all. I think it's a really good pick. I think that he's going to be a really good player for this team. And you know, I don't disagree with the logic of you got to protect your franchise quarterback, especially when this offensive line just wasn't all that good last year. And I'm really a big fan of Josh Conerly Jr.'s game. And I really do think that he is going to be somebody that is going to be able to help the Washington Commanders moving forward and be this team's right tackle of the future. So I give it a B-plus grade, and I think that's perfectly fine. And, I think that I probably would have rather had Mike Green, but obviously the NFL feels like the sexual assault history that he has dealt with is concerning. And I would have rather had Donovan Ezeraku because I think he could be a really good replacement for Dante Fowler Jr. day one. But Conerly's a really good player, and I have no complaints at the end of the day. It's a B-plus for me. Now, before we get into some day two draft targets for the Washington Commanders, let's have a word from our sponsor today at House of Atlas. And, you know, today's sponsor is this new shaving company called House of Atlas, and they gifted us one of their razors, and honestly, I'm kind of blown away. Not only does it look insanely sleek sitting in my bathroom, but it gives me an incredibly close shave. It feels weird to gush over a lineup of shaving products, but truly, House of Atlas makes makes me feel some type of way here, guys. Not to mention, their products are all designed to look like they should have their own tech reveal. The blade head has 5 U.S.-made stainless steel blades that glide right through my facial hair. There's not much of it, but what is there, it glides right through, guys. It has a high-performance serum strip that's infused with ingredients like aloe, vitamin E, and shea butter, which reduces irritation and helps prevent ingrowns. And the premium razor kits come with a magnetic storage hook that you can attach to the bathroom mirror or medicine cabinet for easy storage. This is what you guys are going to get when you order from House of Atlas. This is the package that it comes in. Super sleek design, which I absolutely love. Also, you guys get the shave cream here, and then you also get the excellent calming aftershave as well. So it's a bunch of great products that you guys can get from our friends at House of Atlas. They do a great job, creating really sleek and really gentlemanly shaving products for all men out there. And now for a limited time only, they're offering 15% off your first order when you purchase any razor kit and the before and after set, which includes the precision shave cream and calming aftershave. Use code CHAT at houseofatlas.com. That's HOUSEOFATLAS.com with promo code CHAT for 15% off your new razor kit and before and after set. Stop wasting money and time on shaving products that don't look good, aren't effective, and cost way too much. Visit houseofatlas.com today. Trust me, you'll love it as much as I did. A big shout out to House of Atlas for sponsoring today's edition of the Commanders Report. So now let's take a look at some of the top players at the remaining positions of need for the Washington Commanders, because they took care of the offensive line spot that they wanted to address in the NFL draft this year in round 1. Now let's take a look at some of the other positions of need. Let's start with running back here. If they want to get a running back of the future, Travion Henderson escaped the first round. We'll see how far he falls. Quinshon Judkins is also still on the board. Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. Honestly, I don't want Caleb Johnson here. I'm not sure if he is a great fit for what the Commanders want to do offensively, but he's still a good player, so I put him on the list here. I would really like Cam Scatabo. If you could get him and maybe trade down. If you trade down from 61, you could get a really good player like Cam Scatabo. But if I'm going to get a player in round 2 here at running back, Travion Henderson might be my number 1 target because I think he can be a really good kind of third down running back right away, and I think he's a perfect fit long-term for what the Commanders are looking for in their number 1 running back. So I would really love Travion Henderson. But, if you can't get him, I actually think that Cam Scatabo might be my next guy that I'd be targeting. Maybe trade down from pick number 61, get an additional round 3 pick or something like that, and then take Scatabo in round 3. That would be something that I would be perfectly fine with as well. I think Scatabo is a really good fit here in Washington. Then at the wide receiver position, if they still want to get another target for Jaden Daniels, there's a lot of guys that are still available. Luther Burden III still available. Kind of a Malik Neighbors-esque type of profile, but he's a much reduced version. He's not nearly the route runner Malik was, but he's dynamic with the ball in his hands. And, we know Jaden Daniels can use a player like that because he's utilized players like that in the past, and he was a Heisman Trophy with a player like this. Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State, somebody that I thought could have gone round 1, didn't go today. But he's going to go probably pretty early tomorrow. Jalen Knoll out of Iowa State is another possibility. Trey Harris is somebody to keep your eye on tomorrow. I think the Commanders really like him. Alec Maynor out of Stanford is another guy that I would love to get on day 2. And then Kyle Williams, a really good route runner, would be an excellent addition to this team as well in the second round. Then there's multiple edge rushers that they could look at in the second and third rounds here if they trade down, that is. Mike Green's still available. We'll see how far he falls tomorrow, but if he's available at 61, I just don't know if the Commanders are going to say no to him a second time. Same thing goes for Donovan Ezeraku. He probably would have been my preferred pick, him or Mike Green, here in round 1. So if they fall to you all the way down in round 2, that's an even bigger slam dunk. Some other options are Nick Skelton out of Texas A&M, Landon Jackson out of Arkansas, Princely Omanmielen out of Ole Miss, somebody that the Commanders have actually done a lot of research on here, Oluwafemi Oladejo. Keep your eye on him in round 2. He might be one of the top targets for them tomorrow. Braden Swinson out of LSU, and then Josiah Stewart rounds out my list on day 2 edge targets. Then at the cornerback position, this is another position that you can expect the Commanders to invest pretty heavily in here. And I think that there's a pretty decent chance the player that they pick here in round 2 is actually going to be a corner, or at least a defensive back. Will Johnson escaped round one. Apparently, he's got some knee issues that are scaring a lot of NFL teams, so he did not go in round one. Trey Amos out of Ole Miss, I think would be an excellent fit here. Could start day one in Washington. Siobhan Revel Jr. Has the physical skill set to be a future number one corner in this league. Same thing with Benjamin Morrison, who's got excellent tape. But apparently, some of these teams are a little bit concerned about the hip issues with the injuries that he's had. Azareye'h Thomas out of Florida State, really good press man corner, but he runs like a 4.6, and that's just so slow for a press man corner. I don't know if he'll survive in the league. And then Darian Porter, somebody that's got really freaky athletic tools, but he's a developmental cornerback prospect. Then at the safety position, on this last position we'll talk about here on today's show, Nick Emenwari, somebody that the Commanders have shown interest in during the draft process. If he makes it to 61, he could be the pick. Same thing with Xavier Watson, Kevin Winston Jr., two really good safeties in this class, especially Winston. If he falls to 61, that would be a slam dunk pick for the Washington Commanders. So take a guess for me down there in the comment section. Who will the Washington Commanders draft next at number 61? And do you think it's possible they could trade down and get an additional round 3 pick by trading down in the second round of the NFL draft this year? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section, and that'll be it for our recap of day 1 of the 2025 NFL draft for your Washington Commanders. Tomorrow we'll be back with a day 2 mock draft, breaking down the players that I would want the Commanders to go get on day 2 and day 3, now that we have had a day here to process what the Commanders are doing, and obviously they are prioritizing protecting Jaden Daniels. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now. We're going to have extensive coverage all throughout draft week here on the Commanders Report. And, of course, tomorrow when they make selections and they make picks, we will get videos out to you guys breaking down your new Commanders players. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until tomorrow, guys, go raise some hell.